From Darlington Dragway, Monday Morning Racer host Lee Craft. Lee, you got some special guests here in the studio.
Thank you, Randy. Definitely do. Got next to me Melanie Salemi of Pro Boost, and then Johnny Placino of Extreme Pro Stock. And they are the most recent winners in the PDRA in their respective classes there at the East Coast Nationals. Look, welcome to Between the Slicks, a drag racing talk show, and we're looking forward to diving into some questions with these two great drivers.
Right there, the opener to episode 1, the first ever Between the Slicks. To each and every one of you watching, thank you for watching. This is episode 100, and I think ahead of us we have a great episode. Not so much because of me or even the longevity of this show, but because of the guests that we are going to have later on near the bottom of the hour. We are going to have Ken Singleton, 3-time Funny Car Chaos champion, the most winningest driver in Funny Car Chaos competition, and he is going to tell his story, first time live, right here on Between the Slicks. And I'm looking forward to having Ken. I have had him on the show before, had him on for his 2021 championship and discussing racing in Funny Car Chaos and what it took to win and to win in multiple championships and have multiple wins. And it's going to be fascinating to hear from him from the off season to Ennis, the fire, and the recovery and the future. We're going to be able to get all of that tonight. Also, for the first time, you're going to see in detail what happened. There is my footage that has not been released until later tonight. You're going to see it. It is graphic. It is tough to see, but I want to make sure that everyone understands how bad this incident was, because I'm going to take the time with Ken to possibly play a little devil's advocate. And some of the people who have been negative out there on social media, I want Ken to have an opportunity to tell them, well, like it is, and correct them. There's been very little negativity, but it has been out there. There's been some individuals I would have liked to have popped in their mouth, to be honest, because of what they said, knowing who Ken is and what he went through. But he is on later tonight toward the bottom of the hour. And for all of you that are tuning in, DMEN, woohoo, what's up? Good to have you along. Doug, congratulations. I appreciate that. Bill saying hi, guys. Hello, Bill. And Patty also saying hello. Good to have you all watching along. And Michael, hey, man, saw you at Keystone Raceway. You killed it, and you are a great announcer. I appreciate that, man. Look, that vlog, I'm working on it. It will be later out, hopefully, this week, and everybody can get a behind-the-scene glimpse of me announcing at Keystone Raceway Park for the 15th annual Funny Car Nationals with the Great Lake Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit in the house. If you would, as you're coming in, hit that like button, hit the share button for me, please, and let folks know that Between the Slicks is live right now here on the Monday Morning Racer platform. And let me take the time to say thank you. Episode 100, that's a milestone. And I want to say thank you to Chip Lofton, for one. He has definitely helped accelerate my career and what I'm doing and what I'm able to do. So thank you, Chip Lofton. I want to say Randy Pettit, thank you for that intro. Thank you for guidance, and thank you for good criticism and encouragement as he gave that little intro there on that first episode. Thank you to people like Sam Smith and Darren Williams Jr. for helping out this show. There's been times where I've needed someone to hit the buttons because I'm on the road doing something of that nature, and it has helped out tremendously. Thank you to, well, Melanie Salemi and Johnny Placino being the guinea pigs, as it were, for the first episode. It wasn't even on YouTube. It was actually aired only on Facebook. But they've been guests since then, and I want to say thank you to each and every guest. Obviously, I can't go through every name, but for those of you that have been on the show, thank you for being on the show, whoever you are. And we've had some great guests, and it has been a wonderful ride, and I look forward to the future of Between the Slicks, where it will be streamed to, who we'll have on, and who we'll have discussions with. And what I can tell you about Between the Slicks is it is not so much about, at least with the guests, hey, how did you perform last week at your race? No, it's rather, what's life like? How did you get started in drag racing? Where do you hope that it goes? What are your frustrations? What do you like to do? What is your favorite order at McDonald's? I like those type of questions, and I think they're pertinent. And we like to have those type of discussions with drivers. Just recently, Robert Height, you could probably tell, he's used to really talking about performance and how the car is doing. And that's not really the aim that I was going for. Or we have individuals like a Sarah Slaughter, who is behind the scenes, not a driver, but is the PR rep for John Force Racing. I love having those individuals that you don't hear from, or even a fan, a super fan like John Charbonneau, who is a great amateur photographer and has been to hundreds of NHRA national events and many other NHRA drag races spanning decades. Had him on the show. So it's truly between the slicks. If it's about drag racing and if it's a person in drag racing, we want to get their story, and we want to have them right here for hopefully 100 more and beyond episodes of Between the Slicks. So, as you all are commenting, thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming into the show, and we're going to be diving in just a few moments in depth as we will go into drag news. We'll go into the burn down segment, and we also will take the time to step away from that and then have on our guest at the bottom of the hour, Ken Singleton. Just a few other questions here, comments here. DMEM says, congratulations on 100th episodes. That's crazy. It's already been that many. And talk about a wild way to celebrate the 100th episode, but in a good way because Ken's here to talk about it. Yes, I agree. I'm looking forward to this episode. I was thinking, Holly, hello, how you doing? I was thinking to myself who to have, and it just clicked one night. You know what? I'm going to reach out to Morgan, his daughter, and see if we can get him on. He'll talk about his recovery, talk about the incident, talk about his hopes and his dreams that were and now that have been radically changed. Mike says, good evening, Lee. Great to see Ken out and about. Yes, it's going to be. Tom M., congrats. I appreciate that. Michael, how do you like Keystone? Okay, I'll take very quickly and talk about Keystone Raceway Park. Michael is referring to the time that I spent at the Funny Car Nationals with the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit in the house at Keystone Raceway, sponsored by Good Vibrations. I had the privilege and the pleasure to announce that drag race. First time I've ever announced a drag race. Matter of fact, before that event, announcing that drag race, the only other time I had announced anything from like a tower or a booth had been announcing my high school powder puff game. That had been the only announcing to my credit. So Keystone Raceway Park. It's nestled east of Pittsburgh, situated in western Pennsylvania. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a gem of a drag strip. Greg Miller, the owner, promoter of that particular drag strip, has done a great job of bringing that drag strip to, I feel, from what I have noticed and what I've heard, because I had heard of it even before attending there, but seeing with my own eyes, I think it is the premier place to do drag racing in western Pennsylvania. And I have got to say that if you are a drag racing fan or you competitor, I highly recommend you take the time and check out Keystone Raceway Park. It has a great set of aluminum bleachers, one of the nicest souvenir stands. It's not a stand. It is a very nice room, stepping into something that's air conditioning. You can get your headache medicine and your candy bars and your sandwiches and your souvenirs for and of Keystone Raceway Park in such a beautiful setting. A great concession stand on the other side that was hopping and busy all day long at that event. Plenty of pits, picturesque setting in the rolling hills of western Pennsylvania. Spectacular surface. The signage is right. The paint is right. And as I have said in the vlog, as I have said on this show, I will say it again. Here is a way in which you can tell that a drag strip is well maintained and the owners or the club, whatever the ownership is like, that you can tell that they are concerned about having a well-kept racetrack. go to the end and look at the sand pit. Oftentimes, I have seen sand pits that are hardened and caked up and got weeds growing out of them, and the net, if there is even a net, is all gnarly and rotten. That's not the case with Keystone Raceway Park. No, Greg Miller has done a fabulous job, and you can go down to the end of his drag strip, and it is a well-manicured sand pit, and it is a good-looking net, and that is critical for safety. Like he said in the drivers' meeting, he is concerned about the safety of those drivers, and when you can look at a well-maintained sand pit, that is certainly a reality, and it's truth spoken from a owner and promoter. Stacy Welch says, great footage at the Sega event. Hopefully we'll see you at Lions. Well, I'll tell you what, Stacy, with you mentioning that, I'll go ahead and just share with everyone. Yes, I do plan on being at Wagler Motorsports Park this weekend, and will be covering the great action that is Southeast Gassers Association drag racing, the best drag racing reenactors, if you will, out there in the world of drag racing. Looking forward to the stories that will develop at Wagler Motorsports Park there in Lyons, Indiana. And by the way, yes, we definitely will have, more than likely next week on this show, someone from the Southeast Gassers Association to talk, preferably an A-gas winner. But you never know. There might be a surprise winner in some of the other classes, and we have a B-gas, C-gas, or super stock winner on the show. But that is definitely my plan. And there are sponsorship opportunities with the Monday Morning Racer heading up there covering that great event. So if you're interested in sponsoring footage and the trip, let me know. Mike Barker, Ken is a very blessed man, and congratulations to 100 episodes. Thank you. Yes, he is. Karen, can't wait for Ken to come out. It's been too long. Best wishes. I'm looking forward to it as well. Kenneth says the 1964 Shelby American Cobra Daytona. I'm not sure where that is falling in the line, Kenneth, but great car. Thank you for commenting. Mike Lee, thank you so much for what you do for promoting all types of drag racing. You were a great ambassador of the sport. I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. Love all drag racing, from No Prep to NHRA national events to Funny Car Chaos to PDRA. I think it is all good. Pat, hey, Pat, thank you for watching along. Good to see you too, man. I think it is going to be an awesome show. Sam says, great. Yes, Sam, it is great. Dennis, first time watching. Look forward to Ken. Seeing Ken was at Ennis when it happened. Hard to watch, so thankful he is better. Yes, sir, and thank you for watching along. And Mary Murphy Reap, congrats on 100. Thank you. Well, we're going to take this time and do a little segment I call the Burn Down. It's an opinionated segment. We already did have a little bit of opinion talking about the Keystone Raceway Park. But the Burn Down is where I give the editorial piece, if you will, and like, hey, we need to think of this, or yo, listen to me now. Well, it fascinates me with the mountain, Bandamere Speedway, which I have not been to yet. I might pay a visit after visiting Kearney, Nebraska for the Funny Car Chaos race upcoming, and swing by there, as I plan on doing a big Midwest West tour of several states and knock off a few others on my to get to list. Well, the mountain, Bandamere Speedway, is picturesque. It is routinely regarded as one of the best facilities in the nation. It is also regarded as a place that is challenging, and oftentimes you will find competitors saying, no, we are not going to go to the mountain. We're going to skip it for whatever reason it may be. And I want to say this, that if you are a competitor out there, and I know I don't have much skin in the game whatsoever. I don't have a pro mod. I don't have a pro stock. I don't have a race car that I could take up to the mountain. But listen to me. Looking at it, knowing the sport and other motorsports, I think that it is sad that someone would skip out on going to the mountain. I think going to the mountain and performing well and winning at the mountain should be viewed as a great win in one's career. I'm not going to say that it's a crown jewel win, but it is a win that is of the driver, it's of the tuner, it's of the equipment, it is everything is needed and at its best to get that win. I think it should be something along the lines of people regard winning Darlington, the track too tough to tame of NASCAR fame, as a big win. Yes, the Southern 500 would be considered one of the crown jewels of NASCAR, but that track is unique, and it is challenging, and it is grueling, and people go there, and then when they say they've won there, they can win anywhere. And I feel like if you can win on the mountain, you can win anywhere. And I think in drag racing, that's how that place should be viewed. It should not be viewed, oh, we have to travel that far to go race. Oh, we have to travel that far to go race and race in such adverse conditions because of the elevation. Oh, I'm going to just skip this one and take my hit in the points, and hopefully I can make up for it at tracks at sea level or at least better elevation where I've got a shot. I say go take your shot on the mountain and earn it and showcase talents and abilities, well, unlike you can at any other place. The mountain should be respected, and the mountain should also be attended. Well, that's my little take on the mountain this evening and where it should be regarded in the world of drag racing. And this time we'll take a break and go into drag news.
Power-Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power-Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase.
And as the drag slick crumbles. No, that doesn't sound as well as the cookie crumbles, does it? But in drag news this evening, first, let's talk about an event I was at last week, and that is Nitro Chaos. What a great shot right here. Not because I'm in it, but I am. Look at me. I'm looking at this, and I'm off to the right holding the camera. Got those funky sleeves on. That's actually Chris Gray's next to me. All you can see is legs, and they're all balled up, and everybody's right around the Don Garlett Swamp Rat 12 as it is cackling along. See Don as some great grand general majestically overlooking this nitro burner. Everybody else looks far more concerned than he is. Chris was so kind enough in that very moment, like, hey, if this head pops off, we're dead. I'm like, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. But Nitro Chaos was a spectacular event. It was awesome. It lived up to the hype of having Big Daddy Dungarts there, Grand Marshal. He cackled this car both nights. He also spent some time with David Ratton in the booth and shared a lot of great drag racing stories to people's enjoyment. The winners we want to congratulate in the D's Nuts B field. Dave Gallegos in the nitro burning funny car, the Nitro Clown Motorsports car, representing Kansas very well. He got the job done in the B field. And in the A field, the Wolf Pumps A field, the champ comes back and in her first ever Chaos appearance wins. Megan Myers, two-time NHRA champ. She wins the A field. But I want you to know it was not a situation of her just waxing the field. Many people would think that Julie Natus and Megan Meyer came in there and stole the show in the sense of performance, but that is not the case. They might have been qualified number 1 and 2, but by the time eliminations came around, the competition had figured things out. You can see here, Kevin Kinsley, that evil red light is on. He left too early. Let Megan have an easy go going into the final round to face Julie Natus. And understand on that competition, on the performance, War Wagon with Kevin Kinsley at the helm, they were able to reset 2 times the track record. And what a stellar performance it was. Kevin Kinsley in the War Wagon Nitro Fuel Altered, a 354 with a 7 at 225 miles per hour. That, ladies and gentlemen, at Nitro Chaos, Mocan Dragway celebrating 60 years, was the low ET of the meet and the top speed of the meet. So I am looking forward to when we will see again all these cars come together in the Nitro Chaos format, and we see A-Fuelers, Fuel Alters, Funny Cars, Front Engine Dragsters. Hopefully a Top Fuel Dragster will come back out, and we see them all duke it out once again. It is a spectacular show, and you need to see it. And from what I understand, and I've got a little bit of inside knowledge, we can expect more last year. Definitely back at Mocan Dragway. So just go ahead and try to carve out some time and be ready to go to Missouri, right next to Kansas, and enjoy Mocan Dragway and Nitro Chaos. Last thing I want to say about Nitro Chaos, it's about the fans at Mocan Dragway. They're a special group. And I don't mean that in like the slighted handicap way. No. I mean truly, they are special. They are a great group of drag racing fans. Man, they sat through and watched junior dragsters. They sat through the rain. They sat there and just soaked up everything that was Nitro Chaos. If you lost or you won, man, they were clapping, they were shouting, they were hollering. It was packed. It was such a great sight to see. They bought out T-shirts. Megan Meyer, Julie Natus, Randy Meyer, even in interviewing him, they remarked that they each one used this word. They were overwhelmed. They had not experienced like that many fans coming by their pits and interacting with them compared to an NHRA national event. Why? Well, they're alcohol and no one seems to venture down there. Everybody is going by Nitro and going by Pro Stock and Pro Stock Motorcycle, and then they just don't trickle down to the alcohol pits most often. That was not the case at Mocan Dragway. Those people, they turned out and they brought their zeal and passion for drag racing, and it was certainly evident. And it's kind of like Chris said, he's like, man, maybe I'll just run everything here at Mocan. Maybe we should. I don't know. It was a great fan base and a great place to experience a drag race. It's one of those tracks that if someone needed to experience their first ever drag race, like take them there for Funny Car Chaos, take them there for Nitro Chaos, and they're definitely going to be hooked because of the people and what they're seeing on track as well. Continuing in drag news, this is big. This is big, ladies and gentlemen. This one's big. This one almost could have been my burn down segment. Route 66 Raceway. Look at that beautiful facility. I have not been to this one either. I definitely want to get there. It was built, and when it was built, it was state of the art. It is still such a fabulous looking facility with that tower and the stadium wraparound type of design with the seating. There's hope. There's a chance. There's a shot here, ladies and gentlemen, that Route 66 Raceway could have a national event come back. But this is what it's got to go through. August 5th through the 7th, the NHRA North Central Division, Division 3, will have a divisional race. Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, Comp Eliminator, Stock, Super Gas, Super Comp, also Super Street, along with Top Alcohol Dragster and Top Alcohol Funny Car, will be in attendance at Route 66 Raceway August 5th through 7th. Also, August 4th will be a Test and Tune Day. Route 66 Raceway has held a national event from 1998 to 2019, and COVID interrupted that stream. Ladies and gentlemen, if we want this track back, and I want this track back on the schedule, I think it is a great market. I think it is a great facility, and there's no reason it should not be on the schedule. But this is not, I believe, the NHRA's fault. If you read the article that's on competitionplus.com, place where you can believe what you read on the internet and drag racing news, you will see and get the sense that it's not the NHRA. It is rather management there at the track and almost a reproving that they can hold and have a national event at this place. This is a test. Here, the emergency broadcast here on Between the Slicks. This is a test, Chicagoland and Route 66, Joliet and that area and suburb of Chicago. This is a test. You need to be at the track. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of cars that do have those delay boxes and throttle stops and things of that nature. But doggone it, I can go and enjoy me some top alcohol dragster and top alcohol funny car. If you've never been to a regional or divisional race, you need to check it out. Completely different vibe, completely different feel. You'll have more interaction with drivers and drivers you probably don't know enough about, and you need to know them. If you are in the area, this is a race you need to be at on August 5th through the 7th. If I did not have a Funny Car Chaos race, this is where I'd go. I would take my camera, I'd take my steel camera, I'd take everything I've got, and I'd go to this event to try to support it. Folks, we need to turn out at this event. So, again, August 5th through the 7th, NHRA North Central Division, Division 3, Route 66 Raceway. You need to get out there and support all those classes and this race in hopes that we have a national event return back to that great facility. Well, let me hurry up with drag news as we're getting closer to getting Ken Singleton on here near the bottom of the hour. We're going to turn to some PDRA news. They recently, this past weekend, had the PDRA Summer Shootout at Virginia Motorsports Park. And Chris Reaney gets the job done in Pro Nitrous, his first ever PDRA Pro Nitrous win. He's been a heavy hitter for a long time, just has not nabbed the victory. You see him here in the near lane, this beautiful gray Camaro ATI Performance Products on the side of the door. He picks up the win in Pro Nitrous. And Pro Boost, we have been waiting for it. Here in the near lane, Melanie Salemi, who was actually on the first Between the Slicks effort and has been on since then, since her win in the Snowbird Nationals and record-setting runs at Galot Motorsports Park, kicking off the season in the PDRA. Everybody has been expecting that Melanie Salemi would win, and we all have been asking when. Well, we no longer have to ask when. We are rather asking how many more, because she got the win in Pro Boost at Virginia Motorsports Park and did so over the points leader in Todd Tutterow, her most stiff competition in the class as of right now. In Extreme Pro Stock, the near lane, Tony Gillig in that beautiful Pontiac got the win over Elijah Morton, tightening up the points battle in that class. And we all knew that it was going to happen. He was going to get that win in Extreme Pro Stock. They performed so well in Pro Outlaw 632. It's no shock that he gets the win in Extreme Pro Stock. And speaking of Pro Outlaw 632, Daryl Stewart here in the near lane, the chassis engineering Camaro. He is another one that you always have to keep your eye out on. He can definitely go out there and win any race. He does so at Virginia Motorsports Park. The points situation for the remainder of the season with the PDRA, the Professional Drag Racers Association. Pro Nitrous leading the way, no shock, Jim Halsey. Second, Mike Achenbach, the Mountain Man. And third, Tommy Franklin. In Pro Boost, it is Todd Tutterow, King Tut, leading the way. Melanie, it's not Salami, it's Salemi, is second. And third is Robert Galagos. And Robert, mind you, they have scratched and clawed. They've worked on that program. He's in the gray Mustang with BASF on the side, and they have scratched and clawed, and they are working their way and sitting third. What a great performance by them in that Pro Charge machine in Pro Boost. He's also had a very interesting and gut-wrenching year. If you know that, well, he was at the Midwest Drag Racing Series where Ronnie was lost earlier this year. And in Extreme Pro Stock, leading the way, Johnny, it's not Pistachio, but Placino, Johnny Placino. And then second, Tony Gillig. And third, J.R. Carr. Always keep your eye on those particular door slammers. It's always a tight points battle. And in Pro Outlaw 632, leading the way, Amber Franklin, Lexi Tanner. So two ladies at the top with, in third, Alan Drinkwater. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this time of drag news. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the show. Hit that like button for me. Please hit the share button. We're going to take a break, and right after the break, we're going to have Ken Singleton on. And I know Morgan mentioned she might jump in. That's his daughter, and she is more than welcome to do that. But I'm looking forward to the conversation with Ken right after this break.
If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System TDS and steal the thieves' hope.
Mr. Ken Singleton, good to have you on the show once again, man. And it's good to see you. From just me personally, not just the show. It's good to see you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Well, Ken, you're no stranger to the show. You've been on before, and definitely want to take the time and get your story with everything that has happened and transpired and what you have gone through. Let's begin with this, Ken. What do you think about Funny Car Chaos so far in 2022? How's the competition? How the race has been, and what do you have to say on it right now?
Oh, it's tough. I've been following it. I haven't been to a race yet. We are going to Eddyville next weekend, but I haven't actually been to a race. But we've watched all the races on Flow Racing, and Kirk Williams seems to be running like I remembered him running, and I think there's going to be some guys step up last half of this season, and it'd be interesting.
It certainly will be interesting because even in Eddyville, there's nearly 30 plus cars that are entered and some heavy hitters and some that haven't even ran with Funny Car Chaos. So it's going to be interesting to see what Eddyville will look like. I'm sure many of them will follow over to Kearney and race over there in Nebraska. So we're definitely getting into a fascinating stretch in the Funny Car Chaos 2022 season. So Ken, coming into the season, where was your program? You're champion, and you've got the most wins of anyone in the series. What were you doing in the offseason, and what were you going to accomplish and at least hope to accomplish in the 2022 season?
Well, I mean, our goal was to win another championship. So over the winter, we built a new car. And we worked night and day on it. I apologize. The chassis we got built, we had the chassis built. When we had it built? In January?
Yeah, January.
We had the chassis built in January, but we were waiting on the body. And we actually fitted the old body on the new chassis, and we did spend some time doing that. But the body did show up 3 weeks before Ennis, and we did everything possible to try to make that. We wanted to debut that car, and literally worked up to it till the day we left, to go to Ennis. We were still putting nuts and bolts in it, and looking forward to what was going to happen. So, you want me to keep going, or what do you want to do?
You're good, man. You're good. And look, Ken, you do not have to apologize. I know this is going to be an emotional ride. Yes, for everyone, and but most definitely you and your daughter Morgan there to the next of you, and it's fine, man. It is cool, and that's one reason for the platform of this even show is that drivers, whatever they might go through, or crew members, they can come on and they can be honest and they can be truthful, and so don't worry about being emotional. You went through something that was traumatic and life-changing, and this beautiful hot rod, I know you had a lot of expectations and hopes going into that race. And I remember I remember interviewing you. You were one of the first interviews that I did on the scene, and being a part of the Funny Car Chaos family, that you wanted to win that race very badly. It had slipped through your fingers, as it were, in 2021, and you wanted that race.
Yeah, I mean, we did. We wanted to run and we wanted to step up our program a little bit. I knew Kirk was doing the same, and going to be a fun year.
That it was. So let's dive into qualifying. Round one of qualifying was tough for everyone. What did you think of the track that day, and qualifying, and the sense going into that race in Ennis?
Well, the track's always good at Ennis. I mean, we had tested twice earlier, and the track was there. We were having some issues just because it's a brand new car, but we knew that the track was there. I mean, it was going to. I mean, we were going to run. We were trying to run a mid 50. That was what we were trying to do, and we had leaned on it, to make it do that. We wanted to qualify in the top half of the field, and we knew that was going to be tough.
It certainly was. I want you to know, though, Ken, you've got a lot of positive support in the comment section. Actually, like the most positive support I've ever seen on this show. So that's good to see about you being on here, and everybody wishes you well and continue working at it. And they're so glad to see how far you've come along. Going into that session, the night session, classically, it's the session where everyone performs the best, or at least you got the shot to perform the best because the track conditions and weather conditions. And Brad Tuttle had already gone out there and laid down a stellar lap in his nitro burner, but here rolls up Ken Singleton, and he is the champ, and he is got probably the top performing methanol burner. What were you all thinking? And Morgan, feel free to chime in, going into that third session, that, hey, we have got to get at that top of the ladder. Did you feel like that you were going to really make a statement on that run?
We did. I mean, we thought it was going to – I thought it would run what I just said it would run. I mean, we had already talked about it, looked at the numbers. Earlier in the day, it already run a 60 at 216. Half-track numbers, I mean, it was a little soft on the 60 run. So I was like, well, me and Brandon Pez, I had Brandon Pez helping me that weekend, and we had looked at it, and it's like, this thing's going to do what we want it to do. And which we had set it up for that. And it had no doubt that it was going to be in the top half. But it didn't happen.
It did not happen. Now, at this moment, I'm going to take the time, and we're going to show what people, they have never seen, because it's footage that I filmed, and it's my cameras, and the only people that have seen this is NHRA, Chris Graves. Y'all have seen it this past week at these angles, and I want everybody to know it's going to be watermarked, because I don't want people just ripping it from this show. I want it to stay, in this sense, here. But Ken and Morgan and others, they've been nice enough to say, yes, show it, because I want definitely his side of the story to come out, and for everyone to understand how bad this was, because in the moment it happened and after, everybody was just shocked and stunned, and the statement was regularly, that's not supposed to happen, and it did. And at this moment, I'm going to show you leading up the burnout and what did transpire. is the worst on-track incident I've ever seen in my life, and the worst incident I have ever filmed, and I hope that I never have to film anything like that again. And we all were in shock and disbelief. It was an emotional night for everyone, and it's emotional to watch it back. And I remember watching it actually over and over and over, and that shocked that you were still with us at all, Ken. And the implications of it, like the very next day, I don't have it to show, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm the pit reporter, and great, I've got to do this somber intro of what the heck happened, and I wasn't really sure what to say or what to do, and just glad that you were out of it, and we didn't know how you were going to be. But man, as best as you can, put us behind the driver's seat. What
if I could
was
I
that
don't
like?
think
Go
we
ahead,
really
Morgan.
knew what to do after that day. So, we just kind of kept going on. Like, we weren't really sure what to do. We just couldn't sit around and do nothing. So we sold shirts, and we talked to people, and people came to the pits, and we still had our hospitality tent area, and just everybody who showed up and gave money and bought shirts. And it was unbelievable to see all the support that we've had so far.
Yeah. Fans, crew, everybody. Well, sitting on the starting line, I'm like I am every time. I'm all business, and we were expecting it to run a run, and it left hard. It run a good 60. I don't know what the 60 was, but I know it was good. And at the top of first gear, right before the shift, it blew the panel, and which I've blown a burst panel before, and it blew fire out the right side. I could see it in the fire window in the firewall, which was a head gasket. And then, there was fire everywhere. Like the whole inside of the cockpit was an inferno. And I'll be honest, you don't know what to do. You start, cars going 200 mile an hour, throw the chutes and start undoing seat belts and trying to remember what to do. And you're already burning and smoking. And I climbed out of the hatch, and the wind hit me, and I was like, this thing's still cooking, I reached back in and grabbed the brake handle, and it slid sideways, which made it tag walls. And that helped. And I finally thought, if I don't get out, I'm not getting out. And I climbed up on the roof, and the roof caved in as I rolled off the back. But the car was still moving when I rolled off. I don't know how fast the car was going. But I remember rolling off the car and thinking I was on fire. I was like, I feel like I'm on fire. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Nobody there to put you out. So you're just cooking, really. And finally, I did get hit with water. And I kind of don't remember a little bit there. I don't know. I just remember looking at my hands and thinking, this is bad. This is like real bad. And I didn't know how bad I was burned. I just knew my hands were really burned. And I knew my face was really burned. My nose, my whole face hurt bad. And my wife got there, and I said, I don't have a nose, do I? And she said, she lied. She told me I did. But luckily, surgeons can rebuild stuff like that.
And I still love you.
And I remember sitting in the ambulance, and they said they needed to knock me out. And I said, you're not going to knock me out. And they're like, we don't knock you out if your lungs are burned. We won't be able to knock you out. We won't be able to put a breathing machine in you. And my wife's an RN. I yelled at her. I said, do you need them to knock me out? She said, you're going to have to let them knock you out. I remember laying down and praying that I wasn't going to wake up.
but he did. We didn't.
2 days later, I woke up in Parkland.
We didn't plan funeral. I mean, God's been good. That's for sure.
I'll be honest, I'm blessed that I'm here.
Ken, you are a blessed man, and I'm glad that we can have moments of levity in situations like this. And I know Morgan, the very next day, y'all were selling, doing like you were doing, just showed up the track and went normal. And she walked up to me and she reminded me words that we had said just moments before the race. And it's like, why do we do this? This is stupid. And it's like, here we are in a situation after this, and we're like, wow, racing, it still can cost you so much. It is not 100% safe. And I do want to take the time. I know this is emotional, and I want to play devil's advocate, not to piss you off or anything, but because there's people that I have seen on social media. If I could find them, I would have popped them in the mouth for you, because it made me that mad, and that they said what they said. And I know a little.
We've seen them too, and yeah. It was very hard for me and my mother to keep our mouths shut.
Yes.
But it was the professional thing to do, just to kind of leave it alone. We didn't want to get ourselves in trouble, kind of a thing. So
right, and it was hard to see, because what I know of Ken Singleton, I'm like, the man's got top-notch equipment and everything was right. And on that night, I would say that you would agree with the statement. You had really everything that you're supposed to have in that situation, and it still turned out bad.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. The only thing I did not do, and that is my fault, is I did not turn on the fireballs. I don't think it would matter, because the fire nozzles aren't in the cockpit. They're around the engine. And the fire was instantly in the cockpit. I still do not understand that. I don't know why that did what it did. There's hypotheticals about whatever did that. I don't know. I do know that when it blew the burst panel, it broke the fuel line and one of the port lines. And I know that that's got 200 pounds of fuel pressure that's spraying fuel all over the inside of that. But that's still in front of the firewall. That's not behind the firewall. So I don't get how it got back to me. I don't know. I wish I did. I don't know.
Well, go ahead, Morgan.
So that Monday, my mother was 100% focused on my dad at that point in time, which any wife would be. And so my kind of focus was on the car, and that probably shouldn't have been my focus. But it was like, I wanted to, I guess, I just wanted it. I didn't want anybody to touch it. I didn't want anybody to see it. I just wanted it to be left alone. Because everybody had all these speculations. Well, it was this. Well, it was that. Well, it was this. And I was like, you have no idea what happened. We don't know what happened. And if it takes a year for it to be taken apart and figure out what's wrong, then that's what needs to happen. Nobody needs to touch it. And so I was very skeptical of anybody touching it, including the NHRA, which I know now, 118 days after all of this happened, like that, what they did, they needed to look at the car and they needed to investigate it. And you've seen that because of that investigation, they now have new rules and regulations put in place because of what had happened. But me and my husband, the Monday, he was still on a ventilator. And I had heard that the NHRA was doing their investigation, and I was not happy. I wasn't happy at period, but I was like, somebody needs to be down there with the car. Like, it's not okay that somebody's not from high risk racing is not down there. And so me and my husband trucked down to Ennis, Texas, and we watched them kind of do their thing for about 6 hours. We sat with a burn up car, like 48 hours after this happened. And somehow, I mean, they didn't really take anything apart. I mean, they didn't take a motor apart. They didn't do anything like that. They did say that somehow there was a hole in the firewall. Not really sure how that hole, something must have hit it, and that's how the hole got there. But it's still, in my mind and in his mind, it's hard to kind of fathom how all this happened. It was so fast, and I don't think anybody will ever really know what happened.
Right. And all right, the fire, bad. Ken, the shape you're in right after, bad. But I don't think this story is nowhere near being done. And this is not the end of the story. This is like catching up on like chapter 1 and of what you're going through. And I don't like when you get to Eddyville, you've already mentioned that. I mean, it's not the end of the line for you. I mean, it's the next phase of whatever for you. And it's like Kirk Williams clued me in a little bit on him paying you a visit, and that he's like, yeah, Ken told me, he's like, I'm going to find a car that's fast enough to beat you, and we're going to go fast and kick your ass. And I'm like, that sounds like Ken right there. And that's what I expect of what is upcoming for you. But take us through what you've had to go through medically to get to this point, because everyone has said like you have recovered amazingly well, but what has it been?
Well, when I got to Parkland, they pretty much said 26% of my body was third and fourth degree burns.
Correct.
And they said you could be here up to 6 months. And I'll be honest, that scared the crap out of me. I was like, I've never been anywhere 6 months. You think I'm going to stay in a hospital for 6 months? But I was blind. I couldn't see. I was blind for almost 6 weeks almost 6 weeks. I was blind. Couldn't see nothing. But luckily an eye specialist had come and seen me, and he said, believe it or not, your eyes are going to come back. And they have. I thank God every day that I can see. And in the first couple weeks you're there, they really don't do a lot because they say the burns have to declare themselves, which I guess that just means you got to physically finish getting burned. I mean, like they keep creeping up everywhere, and well, once we finally got to that point, it was just surgery after surgery. It was 16 surgeries, and
the burns declared your fingers.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks in, they told me my fingers were too bad to save. You know, they're like they're done. So we have to amputate your fingers. So, and at the time, I just said, if that's it, that's it. I mean, if you can't save them, you can't save them. So we got a lot of other things here that I got to get well. So they were gone, and that was that. But we did transfer to Baptist in Oklahoma City for several reasons. One, it's a lot closer to my house, and insurance reasons. There was a lot of different things that we wanted to transfer to Baptist, and Parkland did awesome. They did really well on all their stuff, but when I got to Baptist, I was really glad I got to Baptist. Baptist really took care of me. All the nurses were great.
They were wearing your shirts.
Yeah, the whole surgery staff was wearing Singleton Strong shirts.
I think they were wearing these, maybe not these, or some of the Singleton Strong shirts they were wearing. But he finally had at Parkland. It's you never know. I mean, they've got tons of surgeons, so you can get a different surgeon or a different doctor. Every week. They're just on a rotating schedule. Well, when you get to Baptist Integris, you have your one surgeon, and Mr. or Dr. Necto has been a pretty awesome guy for Ken.
He is. And he just
Now you're working with physical therapy.
Well, tell them
Yeah.
about your nose.
when I got there, Parkland hadn't fixed my face. My face was still all burned up. And that's the first thing he said. He's like, "Why didn't they fix your face?" And I was like, "I don't know." I said, "I can't see my face." And he's like, I said, "Is it bad?" And he said, "Yeah, it looks terrible." He said, "We're going to put you on the surgery tomorrow. We're going to fix your face." I'm like, "Well, whatever, dude. If we need to fix my face, let's get it done." And we did. And my eyelids were goofed up too, and he fixed those. And then me and him kind of hit it off, because I'll be honest, he kind of worked like a drag racer. He's like, "We got to get her done. We got to get this done now." And at one point I had an infection in my back. The only time I really had any infection, they have this green liquid that'll come out of your body. That's kind of scary.
Pseudomonas.
Called pseudomonas. And he wrote a big on the wall. He wrote a big deal. It said "no green," which that stuff's green. And he said, "You're going to do dressing changes twice a day until that goes away." And by God, it went away. And we started healing again. And just great times. I mean, really, it sucked. It hurt. It's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. You stick to everything. You can't get out of bed because you're stuck to the sheets. And it's not fun. There's nothing about it fun. But, we did get through it, and we got completely out in 9.5 weeks.
Something that was supposed to take 6 weeks or 6 months took
we
9.5 weeks. I mean,
9.5 weeks.
you don't do anything slow, I guess.
And it still isn't happening fast enough. I want it gone. I want it done. I want to be able to be normal again. And
Want your fingers.
I want fingers. And we talked to prosthetics companies, and we got a good answer about what we want to do and direction actually yesterday and today. And I'm super pumped about having fingers again. So we're going to get there eventually.
Well, that's good news. That is good news. And, with y'all mentioning the T-shirts and the staff wearing, I can tell you I went to so many drag races. And like one of the first races after the Texas Motorplex was another funny car race at Eastside Speedway in Virginia. And there were Singleton shirts there. And the community was in support of you in racing and beyond of what you were going through. And would y'all take some time and, like, I know there was the Cars and Coffee for Ken, and there's other elements. What has the response been through you going through what you are to encourage you through it? What are some examples that you can really think of and you would like to highlight?
You guys tell me that. I was in the hospital when a lot of that went on.
The
and
cars.
We had a Coffee and Cars event here in our hometown, and one of our major sponsors, Brad Bates. Oh, Kate says, "Love you, Dad." My sister lives in Washington, D.C., and she's watching this live from there. But one of our major sponsors, which is Bates Repair, he once a month,
third Saturday.
Every third Saturday of the month,
They have a Cars and Coffee.
They have a Coffee and Cars. Well, you were still at Parkland when they did that, and it was cold. Like, we were in jeans and sweatshirts and bundled up, and there was 150 cars that showed up, and we had buckets full of money. I remember having to go to the bank the next day, and I'm taking in all this cash, and I'm like, here, I don't know what to do with this. But just, the day after this accident, people were buying, we sold out of shirts. Even if we didn't have shirts, and they were like, here's our money. Like, you can have it. People were just handing us $100 bills, because
And all the gift cards.
just the
Good
gift
grief.
card. Oh my gosh.
Fred Spell.
Fred Spell. My mother was in Parkland, and she didn't have to worry about eating the entire time she was down there, because I think Fred Spell hooked her up with just about every gift card you could possibly get to eat somewhere.
And brought me Easter dinner.
And brought her dinners, and we've had so many people people we don't even know. They've gotten our address off of Facebook or something, and they'll send us
They'll just
send us
notes
money
and
and notes and
gift cards and
Drag Racing Women Association.
Oh yeah, there's a organization called DRAW, which is the Drag Racers
Association of Women.
Association of Women. They reached out the day after. They happened to be a representative was at the race, and I remember going to the chaplain service on Saturday morning, and she stopped and talked to me after that, and they've just been amazing. I mean, they've sent us money every month,
And encouragement
cards and everything you could possibly need or want or any, it was just honestly just blown away, speechless, the amount of support. And I mean, it's just been crazy, honestly.
I've never seen so many peanut M&Ms in my life.
Somebody figured out that my dad's favorite snack was peanut M&Ms, and we have bags of peanut M&Ms.
And they all laugh at me. They're like, "I know you're eating peanut M&Ms." I was like, "I couldn't get peanut M&Ms if I tried." I said, "You guys got to feed them to me."
But it was just it's just a running joke, even my son, he's 8, and he's like, well, back when you had hands, and like,
Yeah.
I'm like, Jackson, you can't say that.
There's a picture in our bedroom, and me and Joe was in a hot air balloon, and the photographer wanted me to reach my hands out, so the pictures I'm reached out, and he's 8, he walked in, he said, "Hey, Pop," he said, "back then you had fingers." I did. Yeah, that's cool.
But we're just figuring out that I don't think life is ever going to be normal again. I mean, what it was, but you just have this new normal, like my son's 8 years old, and he'll probably, he'll live longer knowing my dad without fingers than knowing him with fingers. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a new normal now. I mean, whether we like it or not, you just got to roll with the punches and
keep on rolling.
Keep on going.
And look, speaking of the keep on going, so I have a background as a welder. I have an associate's degree in welding and 7-8 years in the field, and even later on being a high school welding instructor and actually teaching at my alma mater. And I see these photos of Ken Singleton attempting to weld, and I'm like, man, that's badass. What the heck is going on? Like, I want to see this myself, because like there's two things, like as a welder, you got to have hands, and you can't be blind, and you got over one of them, but as far as I understand, you hadn't got over the other one. So what the heck are you doing, dude? And congratulations, you're pushing through it and trying to do it. And I want to know, like, what has the attempts been like, and what have the results been like?
Well, I actually welded a little bit today, just practicing, setting the machine. I'm helping a kid that's trying to be a welder. He will be a welder. He's making strides. And the company that I've worked for 12 years, they hired me back part-time to help him kind of learn how to weld. We pipeline weld for Oklahoma Natural Gas. I contract through another contractor, B&H Construction, and they've been very, very good to me the whole career that I've worked in. And I told Boyd this morning, my brother, I was like, I need to weld a little bit today, and we're gonna attempt this, because I did it not too long ago, and then today I did it again, and it sucks. I mean, it's going to be a lot better with a prosthetic where you can actually hold your stinger, but I can wedge the stinger under my thumb, between my thumb and what used to be my forefinger, and then hold the stinger with what I have in the other hand, and I can weld with it. It's not the easiest, but Boyd, I welded that. It's just plate. It wasn't pipe. It was just a piece of plate today. And Boyd, he's like, "Well, it looks like you can still weld." And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I'll be honest, it sucks. It's hard." I said, "It's a lot harder than normal." But I said, "But we're going to make it. We're going to get back to welding." And the prosthetics company agreed. They're like, "We can make you what you want to do what you want." It's like, okay, that's cool.
I showed up at lunch today Thursdays I usually come up to the yard where he's at, and he said, "Hey, I welded today." I said, "Yeah, I saw that on Facebook." He said, "It's on Facebook?" He said, "Yeah, I had a pretty good bead going." I was like,
Yeah,
awesome.
I didn't know it was on Facebook. I didn't know Boyd took a picture of it and sent it to Tammy, and Tammy put it on Facebook. I'm like, man, you can't keep a secret at all. Everybody knows I was welding today. He's like, shoot, everybody in the world knows you freaking welding today. Like, there you go.
Well, man, look, again, just another testament of your character and your fortitude, from having you on my show after earning another championship last year and doing research on getting prepared to handle and cover Funny Car Chaos. You've won at motocross, you won on water, you obviously were a winner at funny car racing, and to see what you have done, I know it's shocking, but yet at the same time, I don't think it shocks anybody that really knows you, because you push through everything like you do. And I've wanted to have this conversation really to get to this point. What do you intend to do in the future? Because you plan on going back to the track. You plan on doing tuning. What's the goals? What's the goals for Ken Singleton in racing and winning? Because I expect you to win, because you're a winner.
Yeah, I mean, I have a problem with that. I hate losing. I really don't think that, I won 5 championships in a drag boat, won 3 in a funny car, set track records, set in a boat, I set world records. It's really, I'm not thinking that I need to actually drive a car. But I do want to do a little tuning. I want to stay in drag racing, and I think that I can make somebody else go fast. So if they're willing to work with me, and I think we could make other people go fast.
I think we can make other winners.
Yeah.
And kick Kurt Williams' ass.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Kirk's on the top of my list. To be honest, I think the world of Kirk. Kirk's great. He's awesome. Yeah. It was so cool when him and his crew came to see me in the hospital. I had a lot of people come see me, and they were all great. But
he brought barbecue.
Yeah, and he brought me barbecue. But I was just floored that he took time to come by, and he stayed a while. We talked for a long time. And Kirk, if you're listening, dude, out there, nothing I'd rather do than whoop you. I'd like to outrun you tomorrow, and I know that's tough. That's the reason why it's such a big deal. Your car runs. It run as hard as mine. Our cars were equal pretty much. His cars, they know what they're doing. I mean, they got it going on.
Ken, talk to me about that and being a competitor with someone, and you want to beat them outright, but yet I dare say the brotherhood that is in this of being competitors and the camaraderie of, I love you, man, but I want to beat you at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we can be friends up until about
until we pre-stage.
The 3 seconds before we head down that racetrack, and then it's all game,
Yeah.
And then afterwards,
we
can go back
right
to
till
friends.
the body's shut, we can be best friends. But once them bodies lower, it's all business then. And I'll be honest. Last year, I had more fun racing Kirk at every race. It was me and him, and it was all about, you better not be late, and you better have that thing on kill, or Kirk was going to get you. So that was that's a fun way to be. I mean, that when it's like that, it makes drag racing fun, especially when your hot rod's running good. When both of them are running good, it's fun. I miss that bad.
It was an emotional interview at State Capitol, and Kirk, in a gracious statement, but an honest statement in winning at State Capitol, said to the effect, well, we got the win, But if you're going to be the man, you got to beat the man, and the man isn't here. So you are still regarded and you are recognized as the top dog, and you are the Funny Car Chaos champion of all time for sure, no matter who might attain any more, even though I doubt many will. And Ken, look, I know ahead of you, you have much more winning to do, whether that is with your physical state or whether it's tuning out there on the track. And I thank you and Morgan and your wife. She's hasn't been on camera, but she's been out off the side of taking this time and sharing your story. And we hearing from you live in a very emotional sense what y'all have been through. And lastly, I just want to give you the floor. What else do y'all want to say? What else is on your heart? What just needs to be stated?
I just want everybody to know how much I want to thank everybody that from all the cards, all the emails,
text, cards,
everything. I mean, it's just overwhelming. I was overwhelmed. You don't really think that many people keep up with you, and then all this took place, and
people we've never met.
Yeah, people I've never met. It's really humbling that, and I want to thank the Lord that I'm here.
Somebody asked you.
There's got to be something He wants that I still need to do, or He would have took me that night. Because you look at my fire suit, and I shouldn't be here. I mean, my fire suit is I still have it. I don't know why, but it's there's nothing left of it. I don't know how in the world I wasn't 100% burned. So I don't know what else to say other than I don't think anybody will understand how much I appreciate everything that everybody did.
We had it's just amazing. I mean, I have to say it at least one more time because it'll probably not get said again, but all of our sponsors on the side of that stinking car. We had more sponsors for 2022 than we'd had ever. I mean, it was the year, and we had contracts, we had it going, and not a single company, not a single person. Nobody asked for their money back. Nobody, kind of balked at anything. I mean, they've just all been just as supportive as they possibly could. They knew going into it that, something could happen, and it did. And I couldn't thank them more. It's just everybody, there are no words, honestly.
And Ken, man, look what you and your wife have instilled in your children. Morgan, she's still at the track, and she's still upholding what she can of that Maxima Racing Oil deal. And it's right. Cool to see the fortitude of the whole family and you all coming through what you have and setting, I think, such a great example. And man, a lot of people look to you and what happened and what you've done afterwards. And I know I've seen a comment earlier. Someone said, hey, I have always thought myself up to date on safety. I knew how good Ken's stuff was, and it happened to me, and I have checked everything again. And you are definitely a living testimonial to Providence at work, and that's something that people should recognize, and I do believe they do recognize. And man, personally, I was hoping to have a whole lot of Ken Singleton interviews at the track this year, and
me too.
And covering a battle. We all expected this Kirk Williams Ken Singleton battle, and it didn't work out that way. I think the storylines in Funny Car Chaos have been great, but this is one I felt that hadn't had due time to tell. And I wanted to take the opportunity and use this special time for me, the 100th, and let y'all share what you all have been through. And thank you for sharing it. And thank you for doing it here. And Ken, can't wait to see you at Eddyville, and the camera's going to be in your face, so be ready.
Chapter number 2 starts in Eddyville. So.
Yes. Yes. Well, guys, thank you for being on Between the Slicks. And I look so forward to seeing you all in Eddyville and seeing you beat Kurt.
We are looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yeah, Joe, get in here. How you doing? You doing good? There is Ken's wife, Joe, and I know it has been tough on you, and you have obviously championed through this as well with everyone else. And guys, y'all keep up the good work.
Yeah, he's tested me a little bit with my RN skills, but I've learned. So he's been a pretty good patient.
Well, and she broke her arm like last week. You got your cast on? No,
it was.
So she broke her arm. So between the two of them, they're down to one hand. That's it.
We're ready for some good luck. We are.
The other day he called and said, 2022 has sucked. Can we get past this? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're anxious to see everybody at Eddyville. We've really missed it, and we want to get back to seeing our race family and friends and thank them all in person and go back to having a good time at the track.
Definitely so. We look forward to seeing y'all, and with having you all on, and it's been good. I think it's been good for everybody else has tuned in and will tune in, and again, through the challenges that you all have been through, to be able to laugh through it is so important. And I think it's the only way as humans, as strange as it is, that we can all cope with this. And definitely you all with what you've gone through. But to send you off, we're going to pull from the Funny Car Chaos commercial catalog, because I run that show as well. And we're going to thank Maxima Racing Oil right now. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Well, that is the champ of Funny Car Chaos, Ken Singleton. And there's nothing else I think I need to say. Thank you all for joining in on this 100th episode. If you would, please consider to come right back here on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We plan on having guests from all over the world of drag racing. I actually spoke to an individual today about having them come on the show, and they're from across the pond in Europe land. We may have that individual on. I thank the Singletons once again for taking the time to share their story right here on Between the Slicks. An emotional show, but a show that I think definitely it was time. It was warranted, and I wanted to give space right here at this place, Between the Slicks, for you all to hear their story and to showcase how bad it was, therefore how great the recovery is, and that Ken is a winner and will be a winner. And I'm looking forward mostly to that time when we see him winning once again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer. Thank you for watching Between the Slicks. Until next time, God bless and keep the pedal to the metal.